How to Master Your Thoughts, Emotions, and Reactions. Storytime by Santoro. We find ourselves in a typical city. The evening air was cool as Jason and his father strolled down the sidewalk. Neon signs lit the block, and the smell of fresh pizza drifted from the corner pizzeria. "Hey, Dad," Jason said, nudging him with a grin. "What if you had the power that no one could ever get under your skin again? Do you think that is possible?" JC's eyes lit with curiosity. "I love that question," he said. "Let's grab some pizza and talk about it." They ordered a couple of pepperoni slices and sat at a booth near the window. Jason leaned forward, his tone shifting, more serious now. "Seriously, Dad, what if no one could ever shake you again? Not with words, not with silence, not even with betrayal." JC paused, the question hanging in the air like the steam lifting from the pizza. Jason tilted his head. "So you are saying it is possible not to react at all? That sounds almost impossible." "It is not," JC said, taking a bite of pizza. "It just takes practice. Picture this. Someone cuts you off in traffic. Most people get angry and carry that negative energy with them the rest of the day. But who really owned that moment? The careless driver or the one who handed over their peace?" JC wiped his hands with a napkin, his eyes steady on his son. "You see, Jason, a person who is spiritually awake will pause, breathe, and let it pass. The awakened person keeps their power because they never gave it away." Jason frowned. "But if you stay calm all the time, don't people think you are weak? The calm ones, the spiritually awakened, are the ones who command respect." JC leaned back, his voice calm. "That is the mistake, son. Reaction is not strength, it is surrender. True strength is control. The loudest man in the room has the least control. The spiritually awakened command respect without ever needing to demand it." Jason nodded slowly, his brows drawn. "Yeah, but isn't lowering your expectations of others just the same as giving up on people?" JC shook his head. "That is not giving up. It is seeing clearly. Disappointment comes from expecting, not accepting." JC shook his head. "That is not giving up. It is seeing clearly. Disappointment comes from expecting, not accepting. You may believe family will always defend you, or a partner will always be kind. But when they are not, that is when betrayal creeps in." Jason took a bite of his slice, a piece of hot pepperoni sliding onto the plate. "Okay, I get it. You are saying that if I stop expecting people to be who I want them to be, I free myself." "Exactly," JC said. "The freedom of your soul comes when you embrace that truth." They ate quietly for a moment, watching through the window as people hurried past, lost in the noise of the city. Then Jason asked, "But what about people who deliberately provoke you? Some folks just want a reaction." JC set his slice down. "That is when you practice stillness of mind. There are those who thrive on chaos. They poke and prod, hoping you will explode. But when you remain calm, when you walk away without giving them your energy, you win. Not because you shouted the loudest, but because you chose stillness. Some thrive on chaos, they poke and prod, hoping you will explode. But when you walk away calm, you win not because you shouted the loudest, but because you chose stillness. Stillness of mind, clarity of thought. These are the greatest gifts you can ever give yourself. And remember, the greatest manipulator you will ever face is your own mind, when you let the chaos of another person's energy ignite inside you. In that moment, you hand them your power." Jason let out a short laugh. "Easier said than done, Dad." JC chuckled. "Of course. That is why life keeps testing you. Every challenge is your training. Every setback is a test of character. What rises against you becomes the very fire that strengthens your spirit." Jason grew quiet. "Dad, sometimes emotions just come too fast. Fear, anger, shame, they hit before I can even think." JC's eyes softened. "Yes, son. Emotions move like waves across the surface. but they do not define the ocean. You are the depth beneath them, calm and unshaken. You are the one who sees the waves approach. And when you pause long enough to breathe, to observe, you break the chain between what happens and how you respond. It is in this space that you create the energy you desire. You are not here to put on a show for others. You are here to become the best version of yourself. Jason looked down, his voice quieter. I have been thinking about this lately. When I sit in meditation, I see myself responding the way I desire to respond. Yes, son, that is where true strength lives, in the stillness of the mind. They finished their pizza, thanked Carmine, who was behind the counter, and stepped back into the night air. As they walked along the sidewalk, Jason asked one last question. What about gratitude, Dad? You always tell me to be grateful. But how do you stay grateful when life feels like it is falling apart? JC smiled at the night sky. Gratitude is not just for sunny days. Gratitude in hard times is what turns pain into growth. Traffic can teach patience. Disappointment can teach endurance. Betrayal can teach clarity. But gratitude is what shows you the light hidden in the dark. And remember, our thoughts are like a magnet. They attract what we put out. Jason, always stay curious and keep seeking knowledge. Try to keep an open mind. Know that truth is discovered in the doing, in the living, not only in the stillness of your mind. This reminds me of the law of action. It teaches us that every thought and intention must be carried forward by moving through it in the real world, because without action, nothing you desire can take form. I see it now, Dad. Action is what turns what we think into how we live, for it is how we grow. JC looked at his son with clarity. Jason, even the scriptures remind us, ask and it will be given, seek and you will find, knock, and the door will be opened. And remember, a great place to gain spiritual knowledge through storytelling is this channel, Awaken Light Energy. A particular story that comes to mind is called How to Respect Thyself. The lessons in that story will serve you. Thanks, Dad. I will check it out. Hey, Dad. Earlier you said that even the tough moments in our life are just lessons to practice. I understand this now. Exactly, JC said without hesitation. And when you allow a negative incident or a rude comment to just pass, you will notice that most problems simply fade away. Think about it, Jason. Some guy bumps into you, does not even say sorry, and for a moment you feel defensive, maybe even angry. But ask yourself, will those feelings be just as strong in a month or in a year? Jason grew quiet, lost in thought. I see it now. The stillness of mind is our greatest power. It allows us to direct the energy we desire, for it is always my choice. Either I choose or someone chooses for me, and I would rather choose for myself. Wouldn't you? JC's eyes lit with excitement. That is it. Remember the law of action. It shows us that no one is meant to sit in meditation all day, while the world moves on around us. Jason, go forward with this new understanding. Program your own thoughts before someone else programs them. For the world will always mirror what you think. We are given the power to choose, and as the Law of Correspondence shows, the outer world reflects the inner world. What you hold in thought is what life reflects back to you. Jason smiled faintly, his skepticism melting into understanding. Dad, you always make it sound so simple. JC put an arm around his son's shoulder as they walked the city blocks. It is simple, Jason, but not easy. Stillness of mind is not the absence of conflict, but the refusal to let anyone own your thoughts. The world will keep testing you, but now you are awake, aware of your higher self. Your peace is yours unless you choose to give it away. As they turned the corner, father and son side by side, they walked not just toward home, but toward a deeper truth Jason would carry for the rest of his life. Dad, I love knowing I can choose my own thoughts, feelings, and emotions. Today I choose happiness, because when I choose deliberately, I live in my truth. Follow the next story as we go deeper. See you in the stillness. If this story spoke to you, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and remember to click the bell so you always hear a new story. And if you know someone who could use this message, share it with them. Because sometimes, a simple story is all it takes to spark something real.